Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review, and today's review is going to be on Transformers Armada Tidal Wave. Now, as you can see, Tidal Wave's alternate mode is actually 3 vehicles. We have an aircraft carrier here, a battleship, and I have no idea what this thing is. I don't know both that well. But yeah, Tidal Wave does indeed split into 3 different vehicles for its transformation, and aside from like the Duocons and Energon Omega Supreme, I can't think of any other Transformers aside from those guys who split apart for their transformation. So, that's pretty cool. Now, we're going to have a look at these vehicles individually, and we're going to start with the aircraft carrier. Now, this section forms Tidal Wave's arms. Because, as you can see here, those are clearly his fingers and his thumbs, just forming the front bit. But yeah, it's a pretty standard aircraft carrier. Got some Combined Wars style ports in the back. Got the control tower here, which actually has a mini-com port on it, so just imagine being in the control deck of an aircraft carrier, and all of a sudden, like a huge jet or car is just plonked on top of it. Because depending on the scale, this will either work pretty well or not at all. There's mini-com ports. Scale-wise, I mean, of course, it works with all mini-cons, but having a look at the top section, we can see we've got two more mini-com ports, a huge Decepticon insignia. Got some detailing here, and we have this darker section, and if you can see there's a little top bit, and there's a bit of purple and red in there, and of course this is Armada, so you know what comes next. Behold, Tidal Wave's Mini-Con. So yeah, Tidal Wave's Mini-Con's actually able to fold up and just fit down there, that is a really cool feature. But having a look at the Mini-Con quickly. This purple jet is named Ramjet, even though he's not a conehead in robot mode and he's not white. But of course, Armada was just reusing names, and it makes sense, because this guy is a jet, pretty much. But Ramjet is the mini-con for Tidal Wave, and with the recolor of Tidal Wave that was in the Transformers Energon toy line, this guy did have a pretty close color scheme to the original Ramjet. But moving him off to the sides, this is pretty much it for the aircraft carrier. I mean, the underneath, it just shows the licensing, and I'll show what there's cavities for later on. But next up, let's have a look at the battleship section. And this is supposed to form Tidal Wave's torso and shoulders. I mean, as you can see, he's got like 2 front bits. This is because he normally has 2 missiles, which I don't have, unfortunately. At the back, we have this bar, and that plays into the combination. We have these bits. These flip out for a reason later on, which I'll show later. And the top, where we have another control deck bit. And we have these guns. And if you attach on a mini-con, if I can actually look at the port, there we go. And if you move that forward, it moves the guns around. And they do aim up, so you do have quite a bit of, well, range with these guns. So yeah, not the worst gimmick in Armada, but not that impressive either. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this section. Now for this bit, I don't know what this is supposed to be. This is like a hovercraft. But one thing I do know, I am missing the wings, unfortunately. And the funny thing is, when I bought this guy, I had no idea he was missing the wings. But I do display this guy in robot mode where the wings would be folded up. And his legs are obscured by my other figures. So, yeah. It's not really a big deal to me. We're having a look. We can see some wood texture here, which is pretty cool. 4 mini-com ports. What could be another control deck area. Got these, I don't know, thrusters maybe. And the underneath, which, aside from the CE sticker, there's nothing. However, there is one feature that, well, let's just have a look at this. You can lift these bits up and fold these bits down, and these form seats. And the detailing here, you can see what forms an arrow. So this is supposed to be like a little mini-con rest area. But you can only use like sitting down mini-cons for these seats. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the 3 vehicles. Although they do all combine in their vehicle modes. So let's get into that. So we'll start with the hovercraft section. Pretty much take the entire thing and just open it up like so. Then take the battleship. And you see this little clip thing in the bar. They just go in like so. And then these bits just rotate around to fit in. If it will even do so for me. Because you see how we have this little clip section here. So you want to try and get it clipped in, which I've managed. Then take the green bits where the missiles would shoot if you had them, and split them out. And then take the hovercraft. Normally it's supposed to just move these out at this angle, but what I find easier to do is split the entire thing in half. Just plug them in like that, and just move them out. Then orientate this, and plug the aircraft carrier back together. And this is what's known as the Dark Fleet. So pretty much we have the aircraft carrier attached onto this bit, which is then attached onto the hovercraft bit. So, yeah. And if anything, for me, this is Tidal Wave's primary mode. Or well, this is his actual alternate modes, at least in my headcanon. But splitting all this apart for now, you actually, well, you can actually transform it while it's in Dark Fleet mode. I want to show something off before I get to the robot modes. if I can get the bits apart. There we go. If you remember how in Armada, Optimus Prime was able to combine with Jetfire and Overloads, well, Megatron/Galvatron can do the same thing with Tidal Wave. So of course I'm going to have to raise my camera. So here we have Galvatron, and I'll just put the little knife gimmick away first. So yeah, Tidal Wave and Megatron/Galvatron can combine, although it can be a bit fiddly. But to get Galvatron or Megatron ready, I'll just call him Galvatron for now. To get Galvatron ready, you do the attack mode thing where you spin around the turret. And unfortunately on my Galvatron, the electronics don't work anymore. So I had to remove the batteries. So that's unfortunate. But after you get all this, leave this bit up. Then take this section, flip these bits around, and you see this port here. Now, I'm pretty sure it'll go in either arm, but I'm going to have this go on this arm. You want to try and have it so this little port goes into the mini-con port. So just try and attach that on, and then wrap these around Megatron's arm, or Galvatron's arm. And I'm sure they actually clip into place. There we go. So now he has this huge thing in his arm. Now the aircraft carrier, it's a bit, well, easier, because instead of flipping something around, all you do is push the control tower down to reveal this. And that's what that cavity was. It was the little bits that go around his arm. But then, same thing, just try and line up the ports with the mini-con bit. This bit can be a bit tricky as well, so you have to try and orientate it. But just make sure you got the thing on his arm. There we go. And then for the hovercraft section, open that up. And then try and get these orientated. Like so. Now, I'm sure you can either have it upward or downward, but I'll have it facing, I'll have the bed facing downward for now. So, I'll have to turn around the leg section for this. But come around, you see the bar section. Once again, just feed that through. These bits might get in the way, so it's best to try and get these bits up. There we go. And well, this is pretty much Galvatron and Tidal Wave's entire combined mode. And I'm pretty sure you would also flip this bit around, but I don't have time for that right now. But yeah, this is pretty much just the combined form. Probably have this bit on wrong, but yeah, I'm not pausing the video just to research. Besides, I'm not even the best YouTube reviewer for Transformers. But anyway, I'll just get these guys separated so we can get to Tidal Wave's actual robot mode. Okay, now, getting on to the actual transformation, you can do it while the Dark Fleet is combined, but if you want an easier transformation, I recommend doing it while the pieces are in their separate vehicle modes. So to start off with the hovercraft, come in here, take these purple bits, lift them up, and lift these purple bits up, and then these purple bits down like so. These are his feet and heels. Then split it around, turn the legs around, and then straighten them out like so. Then take this section and just rotate that. And already that's the leg bit done. I'll just move my camera back. Next, for the battleship section, take this entire section, rotate that around, and then take the green bits and move them down as shoulders. And then come in here, pull out his head, and might as well have a look at the head right now. As you can see, it's pretty square looking. I mean, he's got square shaped head, square bit on top of his head, square nose, square ears. Yeah, so his head, well, let's say he's square. But that's that bit done, so just attach it on the same way it attached on for Dark Fleet mode. And he is very tall, so he has to be all the way back. But finally, the aircraft carrier, well, split that again. Actually swap sides, I'm not joking. Move this bit down again. Turn this bit around to show his hand. Lift up his thumb and move this around so it looks like he's actually got a hand. Do the same here. Oh, that's the wrong way. And then attach them onto here as his arms. And here we have Tidal Wave in his robot mode. And Jesus Christ, this guy is big. He's not the biggest figure I own, but he's definitely still pretty big. So, yeah. Now, with Ramjet, well, with his transformation, pretty much untap the jet cockpit, move that up like a Combiner Wars jet figure, move the wings up, unfold the entire thing, flip this around for his foot, and then move these down as his little arms. And here we have Ramjet. And as you can see, it's pretty small, even for Micromaster standards. Well, not Minicon standards. I'm sorry, it's just that this guy reminds me of a Micromaster more than most other Minicons do. I mean, this guy looks like he'd fit in with the Airstrike Patrol, or whatever it's called. You know, the team that consists of Tailwind, Stormcloud, Whisper, and Night Flight. He looks like he would fit right in with those guys. I mean, his head, pretty standard head, he's got a mouth plate. The only articulation is in the arms, and that's it. That's pretty much it for Ramjet. But for Tidal Wave, I mean, articulation for him, head doesn't move at all. Arms can move up. Has got elbows. Has got some sideways elbow action. The hands can technically open. Thanks to these joints, you can T-pose. And you can do the splits as well. Thanks to the hovercraft's transformation. He has got a waist, pretty surprisingly. Thanks to the transformation again. With the arms, the legs, I cannot even speak, but the legs can move up, can move back. No knees, unfortunately. And I guess he does technically have foot articulation. There we go. So yeah, well, he does have some pretty cool posability in some areas. Once again, just like Hotshot, he is lacking in some other spots. But this is still a better figure than Hotshot. However, well, unlike the Armada series, this guy's colors aren't really a one-to-one match. Because, as you can see, we have bits of neon red, some dull green. Yeah, it's a pretty... It's a sort of multicolored figure. And in the Armada series, Tidal Wave was more of a black and purple. However, the Japanese version of Tidal Wave, his colors were way more accurate to the Armada series. And in Japan, Tidal Wave is actually called Shockwave. That didn't clash with the G1 Cyclops character, because in Japan, Shockwave was called Laser Wave. So it didn't really clash with him. But still, I think even in the English Armada series, Tidal Wave was sometimes still called Shockwave. And for like English-speaking fans who knew about G1, that probably confused them a little bit. But, well, aside from the weird colors, I still really like this figure. I suppose other gripes I have, I mean, say you lose one piece. Like, say you lose one of the bits of the aircraft carrier, so you only have one half. Well, the robot mode kind of suffers for it. And another thing is, I just think the articulation is a bit lacking in some areas. For example, his head doesn't move, and his legs, and he doesn't have any knees. So, while he almost has some good articulation, those two bits are what hinder it for me. But those are the only gripes I can think of, because, well, do I recommend this guy? Definitely. This is one of my favorite Armada figures. Not just because of his size, but his playability. The fact that he can split into 3 different vehicles. His combination with Megatron or Galvatron. Plus, I just love how, no matter like what modes he's in, whether it's the Dark Fleet mode or the separate modes, he can still transform into Tidal Wave robot mode no matter what. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely recommend this guy. Whether it's the Armada version, the Japanese version with the more accurate colors, or even the weird colored version from Energon where he had lightning and was translucent. Yeah, the colors in that one are even more crazy than this guy, but I still recommend Tidal Wave no matter what. Because this is one of my favorite Armada figures. Well, this has been my review on Armada Tidal Wave, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.